Denver Broncos, Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. We're going to discuss matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons. Colby, why don't you go ahead and start?
They're going to run the football all over us with Todd Gurley. We all know this. I like we said with the recap against the Chargers. The loss of Mike Purcell is going to be felt in this game even more than it was last game. Todd Gurley is not the player he used to be, but Todd Gurley is still effective. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can. He will torch this defense running the football. Also, we have to be very aware of Matt Ryan. A lot of people don't like to give Matt Ryan a lot of respect, but Matt Ryan is a damn good quarterback. He has been for he has been for a very long time, and he won't make the mistakes like Herbert did. So we have to be very aware of what this team under their new interim head coach has become more. Well, they've become more disciplined, and they've become more of a team. I think their interim coach has done a damn good job. I think that I'll talk about the offense for the Falcons. This offense, still has Julio Jones, one of the best wide receivers in football. They have Calvin Ridley, by the way, who I'm very scared about. He is a similar version of Jerry Jeudy, who is a great route runner. So I think what they're going to do, I think Julio Jones is going to take a lot of the coverage from him, and I think you're going to have a situation where you're going to have Calvin Ridley against whoever.
Boye?
Well, I don't know if Boye is going to play in this game because he has a concussion. So
he'll probably play. It's probably protocol.
So I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to have Michael Ojemudia on Julio Jones? Or are they going to have Boye on Julio Jones? Or are they going to have Callahan on whoever? It doesn't matter. Like I said before, we have to be aware of Hayden Hurst as well because tight ends are a big issue. Hayden Hurst has the speed to get open, and I don't trust my linebackers to cover. They've been so lucky this year with covering tight ends. It's not even funny, ladies and gentlemen. I just with the Falcons offense, Matt Ryan is once he gets hot, there is with the talent that he has around him. And this isn't a team that should have went 1-5, 1-4 to start the season. This team has a lot of talent that this team should be the record that we have or a little bit better. So don't overlook this Falcons team. This Falcons team has very good talent on the offensive side of the football. Defensively, for the Falcons, they're hurt. They're banged up in a few spots. I don't know if Deion Jones, one of the best coverage linebackers in the National Football League. You had this is a guy everybody needs to keep an eye on. I don't know his first name. I think it's Grady Jarrett, defensive tackle for the Atlanta Falcons, one of the most underrated defensive tackles in football. He's going to be going against Cush. If Glasgow's going to be returning, I don't think he will. You have Schlottman, who struggled in the game against the Chargers. And then you have Reisner, who's been struggling all year. So look for the defensive line with the Falcons to get after us. They still have McKinney there. They brought in Dante Fowler. So there's going to be a lot of instances where this offensive line has to play better than they did last game. So you can go ahead.
Well, if you've heard the talk, it's like, oh, this is the Atlanta Falcons. Oh God. So I would tell the feel-good crowd, you better get off of that notion that this is some sort of easy team. Okay, this is not an easy team, and I get so sick of it. First of all, I will say this is a team the Denver Broncos should never be allowed to have them run on them. But because LA has decided that he doesn't want to address the defensive line, he doesn't want to address the linebacking, this is a Falcons team that likes to mix the run and the pass. And this is going to be a game that, as an Atlanta Falcon fan or your coaching staff, they're going to say, I think we can run this ball against this team. This is going to open up the passing lanes. In my opinion, Julio Jones should get double coverage. Should get that. That means that there's going to be one-on-ones, and then they're going to have to win those. I would assume that Boye is going to be back, and that's a guy that they could exploit. Number 23 there, he's got to get better. He's can't play as loose as he's played. He's got to tighten it up. And that brings me to Atlanta's defense. One thing that popped out to me watching them play Carolina was they're a pretty good secondary. They are a pretty good secondary. I do believe a defense, though, the Broncos can run on. Let me say this now. The Denver Broncos need to run smarter, not harder. Meaning they really should use their passing game to open up their running game. Because what I've noticed about the Falcons is that when their defense is committed to just stopping the run, they're pretty good at it. But when their defense has to, account for the receivers, tight ends, that's when you can open things up in the running game against them. But that team can stop the run when they know you're going to run, and you're saying, okay, we're going to run, we know we're going to run. They will stop that. They are good at that. But like I said, if you throw on first down, maybe then they've got to respect your passing game a bit, and so you can open your running game. What I did not like against the Chargers was the predictability of the running game, because the Chargers knew they were going to run, and the Chargers were able to shut it down until, of course, Lindsey popped that one out. But for the most part, that's how this Atlanta Falcon team is. So the Denver Broncos are going to have a lot of balance. I think they're going to have to use some passing to open up their running game. I think you want to run the football against this team because I think you want to keep Matt Ryan and company off the field. I think that would be a very good idea. Try to chew up time off the clock, because I think that offensively for the Atlanta Falcons, it's not a bad matchup, quite frankly. And so that would be my game plan, is to try to run a little bit more of the pass, but definitely use your pass. Go downtown when you can. Take what the defense gives you, okay, of the Atlanta Falcons, but don't be afraid to go downtown when it's the right time to. Don't be afraid to run when it's the right time to. I'm just saying that we need a smart game plan going in here, not predictability.
I'll talk about the run game first with Gordon and Lindsey. If you go back and watch the Charger game and the games prior, I encourage all the feel-good fans, and I encourage John Elway, if you ever watch this, I encourage you to go watch Melvin Gordon and continue to run into his blockers. Now, that being said, I think this is a game where Philip Lindsay could be primed to have a big game if they utilize him the right way, because he has the ability to slip through the tackles. He has the ability to take it outside and take it for a gain of that. It could be 5 from Gordon and take it for 10 yards, 8 to 10 yards. That being said, I think this is a game where you kind of have to replicate against Pittsburgh. And that, what I mean by that is, the Falcons do have a good secondary, but the one thing I noticed is a lot of quick slants and a lot of out routes can confuse this team, especially in the backfield. So I think that you have to get creative, but be smart about it. Be smart about your creativity in the passing game, because all I'm seeing with Pat Shurmur is his 3 wide receiver sets, and it's one is a go route, one is an inside route, and one is like a hitch route. He's not being creative with his passing game, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where I'm having a problem with Pat Shurmur. And Noah Fant can have a good game but he's going against Deion Jones, who is one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. People need to recognize his name. I don't know if Keanu Neal. Did you look at it? Is Keanu Neal playing in this game? I have no idea.
I don't know, but that's why you have Albert O. That's why you have Albert O. You have Albert O. So okay, you got your best linebacker on one guy. And this is where we're talking about being creative.
The thing I'm having with so with Shurmur, you can't wait till the fourth quarter to use Alberto. He has too much talent not to use him. Now, when we drafted that guy, I specifically said his speed can fear defenses, just like with Noah Fant's speed. But when they brought in Nick Van Nett and they're utilizing him more, that's where I'm having an issue. But
did bringing in Nick Van Nett, did that make any sense to you?
No, because you already had a similar player like that in Jake Butt. You had a similar player like that in Andrew Beck. You had a similar player like that with Jeff Hireman at the time.
You know what's interesting about that is that you loaded up on tight ends, which it's not always a bad thing. I'm not saying that, but it's curious for a team for a head coach that doesn't really feature tight ends.
Yeah, that's where I was having an issue. I'm like, when has Pat Shurmur ever ran a 2 tight end set in his life? He always runs a 3 wide receiver set with a 1 tight end. That's what he did in New York.
So is he really utilizing tight ends the way he should be?
No, and that's why I miss Rich Gangrilo, because he knew how to utilize the tight ends. He knew how to utilize the 2 to 3 tight end set.
Yeah, the tight end in this offense seems to almost be a token, almost.
But that's what I'm saying. You have Noah Fant, you have Albert O in this game. Now, my fear is that they're not going to utilize Albert O until the second half or until the third, fourth quarter.
Instead of using both.
Instead of using both and being creative.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many games have we played? 9 games so far?
Game number 9.
In the 9 games that we've played.
Oh, 7. I'm sorry. Let's see, what are we at?
We had a bye week.
No, 8. I'm sorry. This would be game number 8, I believe.
Okay, through the 8 games that the Broncos have played, have you seen a game plan where Pat Shurmur's been creative?
No.
So I don't know if this is going to be. I don't know if this is going to be.
I have to agree. I have to agree with. This would be a good game to attack with your tight ends to open it up downtown on the receiving end. I have to agree with that. I think that's what I got out of watching the game film too.
They were utilizing Albert O and Noah Fant in the Charger game, and that opened everything up because the Chargers knew that Albert O could be a threat and Noah Fant is a threat. Everybody knows that Noah Fant, if healthy, is is a top 5 tight end with his ability. Everybody, you can't dispute that. You can't. Both Albert O on the other side with a similar skill set, probably not as good, but the similar skill set, you have to account for that. You have to.
Then here's the game plan. Here's the game plan in a nutshell for Shurmur. We're going to run the football, but we'll dictate everything, and we're going to throw. But wait a second. You're not yet. Running the football isn't enough. You have to run smarter, not harder. What we're going to do, and tell me if I'm getting this wrong. If I'm Shurmur, I'm going to come up with a tight end package, okay, that's going to springboard my downtown throws to receivers, and it's also going to springboard my running game because I can keep those tight ends in for the running game. They don't know if those tight ends are going to release and be a part of that's what I'm saying. They have to respect that. So you can use this tight end scheme that we're talking about to initiate your running game and initiate your wide receiver passing game. It's almost the hub of an offensive game plan. Am I correct? Can I Would that be a correct game plan in your opinion?
I think that would be a correct game plan, but I would also bring up, why don't you just do a lot of swing sets with your running back, which is you have Dalton Reisner coming around and blocking the backside player, and that had so much success in the Charger game. When Philip Lindsay was on the field, they were running that play at will, where they had Dalton Reisner pull, and Philip Lindsay was just right behind Cox and right behind Reisner, and they're running the pull game. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing what you have to say with that. I think that's an excellent game plan. But do I trust Pat Shermer to do that? No, not in the first half, because I told everybody before the Charger game I have no confidence in Pat Shermer to come up with the creative game plan that can be like, okay, he put his standpoint in the scheme. He outcoached the defensive coach on the other side. I haven't seen that, ladies and gentlemen. So do I have confidence? Like I said, no, I don't. But can Drew Lock do what he did against the Chargers for all 4 quarters? I don't know. I don't know. I hope I could. I wish I could say yes. But
well, if you game plan this correctly, he could.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't trust Pat Shermer to game plan this correctly at all. I'll be shocked if he does. Maybe he will because he's going against the interim head coach for the Falcons. But like you said, the Falcons have a really good secondary.
They do. They are on tight. They are tight covered secondary.
And don't take this defensive line from the Falcons. They're not a joke either. They have Dante Fowler. They have McKinney. They have Jarrett. They have Tyler Davidson. They have some very solid players on that defense. And Keanu Neal is a game-changer safety. He's a game-changing safety. And you have Deion Jones. Now, like I said, I don't know if I was the offensive coordinator for this, I'd be utilizing Albert O and Noah Fant and run. And like you said, they are doing the same thing that they have done with Rich Angarillo. They utilize the run in a smart way. And that's what I loved about Scangarillo. But with Shermer, it looks like, we're just going to run it right up the middle on first down. We're going to pass it on second down. And if we get it in 3rd and 2, we're going to run it right up the middle. It's the same game plan over and over and over again. The only time I saw him, go ahead.
He dictates to the Chargers, to the Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to run the football. I'm going to run the football. It'll never work. If he gets them in a situation like they could throw the tight end out there, we could get into see passing. This could be a pass, and they can't commit totally to the run. They have a shot at running between the seams and your swing passes. They have a shot at all that. But they have to, at least in their mind as a defense, be thinking that the Denver Broncos are going to be throwing, because they will stop the run if that's what, as a defense, they plan on doing.
But you know that they're going to come out running the football, because I don't think Pat Shermer and John Elway fully trust Drew Lock yet, even after this great performance in the 4th quarter.
Well, they got to meet Lock somewhere in the middle. I didn't believe in bombs away either. But at the same time, I don't believe in, we're going to run because we don't trust this guy. That's a formula for failure right there. You have to meet somewhere in the middle.
Do you think they'll do that in this game?
Well, they better, because I will hit the ceiling, because there's a progression of plays that could help any quarterback, whether it's Lock. You saw it with Matt Ryan too. Matt Ryan's not throwing bombs all over the place. He's going through a progression of plays that helps him. And Bridgewater was doing the same thing. That game was tight into the 4th quarter, and Bridgewater was getting plays that was a series of plays that would help him build his performance on. And I just don't want predictability out there.
But that's where I go off to my. You're right on everything you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. Agreed.
But you're not. You don't believe you're going to see that, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm going into. I haven't seen from the 8 games and the 6 games that Drew Lock has played. Right, he's missed 2 this far. The 6 games that he's played, I haven't seen Pat Shurmur put Drew Lock in the best ability to succeed with his game plan. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So in case you're a feel-good fan and you want to show me the clips, go right ahead. But trust me, I haven't seen anything from a Pat Shurmur standpoint with a game plan that's given me the confidence going to in a game saying, like, okay, he knows what he's going to do against this defense. I think it's going to be the same old thing. They know that we're going to run the football on first down. Not just first down. They know that we're going to come out running the football, and it's going to stall again, and we're going to do the run hard, not run smart. It's going to be the same old stuff. And that's a good analogy, by the way.
So we're talking 3rd and longs against a good secondary.
Exactly. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. We're going to have Lock just.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. Watching the Chargers and watching the Atlanta Falcons and Panthers, and watching so many other games, when you don't attack the yard marker, when you are game planning on your side of that, but on 3rd down, if you don't hit the yard mark or go beyond that, you might as well just sit on the bench and punt, because you're not doing anything as an offense. Your job is to convert 3rd downs as an offense.
You just brought up everything. You just read my mind. You just did the Pat Shurmur offense. You just said the Pat Shurmur offense. When
the check down Charlie Shurmur. Check down Charlie.
Check down Shurmur.
Check down Shurmur.
Yes, that's what they've become now. And seriously, even if you are offense that's struggling, still can attack the middle of the field, can help everything. I don't care if attacking the middle of the field helps a lot.
I think that
a lot.
I think if Shurmur had his act together, he'd realize he's got a good receiving core, a good brash core of receivers, and that they can take that secondary out of the middle where those tight ends can go and work some magic. And that's a game changer. That means
you saw that against, yeah.
Well, I mean, the Atlanta Falcon defensive coordinator has to come up with some way to answer that. Now that opens up your wide receiver possibility, playbook.
And your tight end possibility.
Yeah, well, if they have to address and double up or whatever, clog, then okay, you're going to clog us in the middle. We're going to go downfield a little further on you. I could do that with some confidence if I'm Lock. I mean, okay, now you're concentrating on more where the linebacking core is. Okay, now I can get Judy out there maybe on some one-on-ones or whatever, or Patrick on some one or whatever, and I feel a lot more confident in getting the ball out when you guys aren't, covering so tightly. You got to loosen up a little bit,
I like you said, like we saw it in the second half. You saw them attack the middle of the field with Judy. That pass to Judy was beautiful.
I think that pass to Hamilton was beautiful too. There was a Hamilton pass for a touchdown. I believe he scored a touchdown on that.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
They were very similar type throws and type in situations, but yeah.
And see, this is where I'm afraid of. I don't think Pat Shurmur is going to be creative enough. And people, it's football 101. You have to go back to the basics. Okay.
Well, you can do that. Yeah, I agree.
But you have to be smart with it.
Creative. You can do that in your creative game
plan. But
we're
not creative on offense whatsoever. It's the same old game plan.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You
can do 101. You can do 101, and I was the one saying that. But you can implement 101 in your creativity. That is possible, and that's the whole kit and caboodle right there.
When you watch the running game for the Broncos, do you see any creativity when Melvin Gordon's in the game?
No. And let me ask you this. When we're talking creativity, are we talking about flea flickers and
no?
We're not talking about that.
No.
We're talking about just attacking this defense in a smart way. That's because we're not seeing smart football out there. So we have to be a little bit more out of the box. I'm not talking about flea flickers here. No, we're talking about setting up these tight ends in situations that are high percentage completions. Are we not talking really high percentage completion passes here? Opening up the running game, opening up downfield throws. Are we not talking that?
Well, I'm talking about that too, but I'm also talking about in the running game.
Well, yes,
creative in the running game.
The swing
high percentage runs.
Yes.
And I don't see that when Melvin Gordon's in the game. It's the same old crap with him.
We're running into blockers.
No, it's not just running into the blockers. It's running up the middle. It's running up the middle. Okay, we're gonna run on the side with Gordon. But every time I see Philip Lindsay in the game, they do quick pitch to him. They pull a guard with the fullback with him. They're more creative with Lindsay than they are with Gordon.
They can't get creative with Gordon. And I'll be honest with you, Gordon should be going up the middle. I mean, that's what you paid him for, but you overpaid him, okay? But the problem is he runs into his blocks. He's not a good between the tackle running back because he just has no vision. He overruns his blocking. It's a mess. But you paid for, not you, but Elway paid for that.
Well, every time I see Philip Lindsay run the football, the most underrated aspect that nobody likes to bring up is he sets up his blockers. He's patient. But oh my God. This is like, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, we're not going to be creative in this game. I'm saying from the sample size I've seen Pat Shurmur this year, even when they had Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay and they had some healthy players in the receiving core, and they had the offensive line was healthy, they still weren't creative.
No.
Go vertical or run up the middle.
Vertical.
It's the same old game. Like in the Charger game, wasn't their game plan different from the second half than it was in the first half? Or do you think that just Locke was just like, okay, I got to make the throws that are open? I think it was Drew Lock saying, I have to make the throws that are open. I don't think it was Pat Shurmur's creativity, in my opinion. I didn't see anything from the second half that gave me, that was a Pat Shurmur play. That's bull crap.
Well, what opened it up was the blocking. And yes. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm not as worried about the Atlanta Falcons defensive line. However, because they don't have the Bosa. However, it's not a slouch. I'm not going there. It is not a slouch, and they're going to have their hands full. But I think they may be able to, at least with this defensive line, at least be serviceable.
But our offensive line isn't serviceable.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons will get to the quarterback at least some in this game. But my hope is that, they'll be able to give Locke time, enough time on it, when it's all said and done, that there will be enough time to make those plays that we saw in the fourth quarter.
I wish I could agree with you, but the reason I disagree with you is because they have Grady Jarrett, who is no slouch. He is at the level of Chris Jones. And the most
they got after Bridgewater. They got after Bridgewater. That's no doubt, and I don't doubt that they're gonna have some success. I'm not saying that.
I think they're gonna rattle Drew Lock enough that he won't be able to make those throws because I don't think Pat Shurmur's gonna help him out. I think that, and the reason I say that is, how do you get a quarterback off his spot? It's not pass rush off the side. I'm tired of hearing people say that. It's pass rush up the middle. So Drew Lock doesn't do good against the blitz. He can't recognize blitzes. Okay, well, what is every team through week 8 on? What have they done to the Denver Broncos? They blitzed because they know that Drew Lock can't recognize blitz.
Well, and you know what? That brings us to, they do not allow their halfbacks to block, to shore up those AB gaps. And you're right. You're right about one thing, I think, is that you may see a lot more blitz from Atlanta that you would normally see.
Yeah, because the Chargers, they're so ingrained in that cover 3 scheme that Gus Bradley ain't going to switch it up as much as I don't know who the defense coordinator for this team is, but this team has a lot more ability to rush the passer than the Chargers do. The Chargers have names, but I think the Atlanta Falcons will be creative enough to how to get to the quarterback, if that makes sense.
This is where we're talking about being creative if you're Shermer.
But he won't.
Okay. Well, yeah, but and again, yes, and you're probably right about this. But if you're the offensive coordinator and you're saying, okay, yeah, you're going to come blitz. Guess what? We're going to send our tight end. We're going to let you come and blitz. Then we're going to toss right over to that tight end, and then he's going to get 20 yards or 15 yards on you. So you just keep blitzing. Okay, you keep blitzing. We're going to go right to we're going to feed our tight ends, and good luck covering them. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the creativity we're talking about.
No. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You have 2 tight ends that ran in the 4-4s, 4-5s? That's what we're talking about here. You have 2 tight ends and I'm not saying that name. And then you have Noah Fant, who are they're 2 of the fastest tight ends in the National Football League.
And Shermer needs to work on that with Locke these plays have to be worked on.
But do I trust Pat Shermer and Mike Shula to work on that with him? No, because like the video that you said with Cecil Lammey, they're going to go vertical. They were still trying to do that in the second half.
Cecil Lammey, go vertical. It's all about going vertical.
But weren't they? They were still trying to do that in the second half against the Chargers. Once they knew that the Chargers still running the same defense, it's not like the Chargers did anything special in the second half. They stuck with the same game plan because they didn't trust Pat Shermer to get them out of the rut that they were in. But it was Drew Lock who got him out of that rut. You can disagree with me all you want, you feel-good fans. But in this game against the Atlanta Falcons, be careful what you wish for, because all you guys that are on the Pat Shermer train, in my opinion, it's going to be proven wrong. I'm sorry. I don't have any evidence. Even when he was in New York, the tea leaves in New York, Pat Shermer, he's so arrogant in his game plan that he won't change it up. That was on the message boards.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if you were this is we're not saying that Pat Shermer is going to do this. This Broncos country. We're saying that what you would do and what I would do. And what we would do is be creative in your running game. Be creative in your passing game. Use Albert more than the fourth quarter for once in your life. Utilize that talent.
Yeah.
I'm tired of wasting that type of talent.
Oh yeah. Now,
the reason why we're not talking about I think we should talk about the defense, because the defense could get shredded in this game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we saw that the Chargers had no business running the football like they did. They had no business doing that.
Because Mike Purcell was a huge loss.
Well, and what's going to open up their running game is the fact that they have good receivers on that side of the ball too, and a good quarterback.
And they're going to attack Boye.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying. That great pickup that the Broncos, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, you think that the teams are so afraid of Boye? And all the media outlets when he was coming in, he's going to have the same type of season like he did his first year in Jacksonville when he had Jalen Ramsey on.
Well, that's what locally they were selling it that way, but nationally everybody said, well, he had that.
He's Robin.
Yeah, he's Robin, but he's no Batman. He had Batman backing him up, but he has no Batman here. So
that's why teams aren't afraid to pass on that side of the field. Well, they weren't with Kareem Jackson, who can't cover worth a dang.
No.
And like everybody, Kareem Jackson, I think he enforced his physicality in the game against the Chargers. You saw that. I mean, you saw the hits that he was playing on people. He enforced his physicality. But do I trust him to enforce the physicality on the likes of Julio Jones and the likes of Calvin Ridley? Calvin Ridley, by the way, who is just as good a route runner as Jerry Jeudy? No.
Well, I think Fangio can kind of take a page off their Kansas City Chief game defensively. But if the Atlanta Falcons are running it right down their throat, well, heck, I mean, they'd just keep running it and running it if they can't stop it. But that's going to open that passing game wide open.
And another thing, like with Fangio, like you said about the Kansas, bait them. Like the Kansas City did with the Denver Broncos. And I'm not saying that the Denver Broncos are close to the Atlanta Falcons offense, because they're not. But the one thing that Kansas City does very well is they disguise their coverages and they bait people. They bait people. Why can't we do that? I'm not saying Vic Fangio.
I don't know if we have the player personnel to do that.
No, we don't. We don't have Tyrann Mathieu back there. We don't have Chris Jones, enforcer up the middle. The only way I could see us getting to the quarterback is Chubb and Reed. That's it. I don't see Harris and Williams and all these other guys that I've never heard of, except for Sylvester Williams, another name pickup again. But this is ridiculous. I'm not saying that Vic Fangio is going to keep us in this game, but if they're going to run on us like the Chargers did, this game will be over by half.
Yeah, you could be right about that. If they can't get a handle on their running game, they're going to flip the script on the script I'm putting out on how to beat them on us. You know, they're going to run the football and hit the strikes. You know, they're going to hit the strikes.
But I think that the Chargers did give everybody the blueprint on how to beat this defense. Is that you run the football. People don't realize how big of a loss Mike Purcell is because he can eat up 2 blockers, and that helped the linebackers back there. Yeah, Mike Purcell eats up 2 blockers. I'm sorry.
So the linebacking will get exposed.
Oh, I've been saying that. I've been saying that since I watched the film. They are going to get exposed.
I'm no fan of this linebacking core.
I haven't been either. Every time I see so I go back and I watch the all 22 film, and I seriously every time the Chargers ran the football after the Mike Purcell loss, I would watch in slow motion the linebackers get absolutely destroyed. And everybody's saying how they're good in pass coverage. They've been so lucky this year because of the safeties helping them out. But I have no trust in this linebacker core to get off their blockers.
I got a bone to pick with you. You may have said that these guys could be good in the 70s as linebackers. I'm telling you right now, they couldn't hold Randy Gradishar's jockstrap because Randy Gradishar could actually cover as well as be an old 70s style linebacker.
Well, after I thought about it, I really wanted to retract that statement because they can't get off blockers either.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh crap, I shouldn't have made that statement. But their style is similar back in the day. They can't run. Randy Gradishar, I'm not saying that they were going to be all world beaters in the 70s. I'm just saying their style.
They couldn't hold Tom Jackson's jockstrap. I mean, they're not even in the same universe.
See, Feel Good fans, we don't always agree. Right there's a perfect example. But
you agree with everything I say. Night now.
Agreed. But going back to the game, what are your okay, so now that you said that we should be creative, what are your real your expectations going into this game?
I got my daughter on the other line here.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. You want to get picked up?
No.
Okay, you gonna stay?
I'm doing work.
Okay, I'll see you. Okay, there. Okay, so
what are your expectations for
I
the
didn't
game
realize
on
that
Sunday?
we've let so much time get by. Okay, go ahead. Sorry
No,
about that.
what are your expectations for the game on Sunday?
Again, it's like with the Broncos, it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We have such a player personnel problem. On one hand, we've got, like you said, tight ends that are being underutilized. We have a game planner in Mike Shermer who can't see the bigger picture and can't, game plan in his strengths for whatever the reason. It's kind of myopic. Defensively, we have a great defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio, and we all know that Elway's the head coach.
Yep.
We have a tiger by the tail in this game. This game could get out of hand. It could. Or if, calmer heads prevail, we put in a good game plan, we could, find ourselves in this game. But this is not a give me game. And it could get out of hand. But I don't want people to get surprised if it does. Neither one of us have confidence in this team. It's the bottom line. In the Denver Broncos.
Man, coming into this game, I'm going to talk about the expectations here. Coming into this game, and basically coming into this season. So I'll talk about coming into this season real quick. Coming into this season, I had no expectations of this team going to Super Bowl and or playoffs because this team is so disorganized and so unorganized from the top down that I don't see this team ever going back to the playoffs unless they're lucky. Going back to this game, I've said it for a very long time. I didn't get the Pat Shurmur hire. I said that I was on the Rich Scangarello thing.
Well, I didn't get the Rich Scangarello hire. But go ahead.
Sorry. No, you're good.
Go ahead.
I wanted Rich Scangarello gone. I'm sorry. I wanted Rich Scangarello gone. That's what I'm being said. But I understood after the season, like, hey, this guy can work with Drew Lock, and I see Pat Shurmur coming in. And the 6 weeks I've seen with him and Lock, I don't think they connect very well. I don't think that they mesh very well. I think the whole Pat Shurmur Drew Lock thing where he wanted Drew Lock was a bunch of bullshit. I think that he wanted Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State go back into the message boards during that time, and he wanted him.
Okay, go ahead. I got another call. Sorry.
So going into this game, this team will be exposed defensively and offensively. I think that Drew Lock is going to struggle in this game because I don't think Pat Shurmur is going to put him in the right positions to succeed. I think they're not going to use Albert O and Noah Fant correctly. I think that they're going to shove Melvin Gordon down their throats again. I think they're going to underutilize Philip Lindsay. They should be using Philip Lindsay at least 10 to 15 times a game, not 6 to 8.
Yes.
And that's where I'm having the biggest problem with Pat Shurmur. You are underutilizing probably your best offensive player at this point in time, and you're only going to run him 8 times.
Yes.
I get it. He just had a concussion, but this is ridiculous. And I think the defense will be exposed. And in Denver Broncos country, don't be surprised if this game is over by half. Because Matt Ryan is leaps and bounds ahead of Abear. And he is leaps and bounds ahead of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So, this game is going to come down to, are we going to see Pat Shurmur be creative in a smart way? And are we going to see Vic Fangio be creative on how to stop the run in this game? Because if they can't do those two things that I just said, this game will be over by the third quarter.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I agree. Agreed.
And the special teams hasn't been great either, too.
Shurmur can't escape himself.
No, the special teams, I think I have no confidence in the special teams because they don't have the talent. Tyreek Cleveland, I don't get what he is doing on special teams to begin with. Every time I watch the all-22 film and they do kick off, he is so inept on how to cover his side, cover his assignment. It's you want to put your hair out. Another John Elway move that I'm just getting really pissed off about.
Yeah, the player personnel is not there. It just isn't.
It's not to the level of the Falcons.
No, it is. It's going to keep rearing its head. It's going to keep rearing its head as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. I'm just being bombarded right now.
Yep.
And I apologize for that. And I didn't realize that this would go on. But I would be. My take is, don't be surprised if the Broncos are struggling. I do think, though, that the offensive line can compete with their defensive line, can compete enough that it's not the same issue as in the first half of the San Diego Charger game. But with that said, there's the creativity problems. Will he utilize the tight ends? That opens up everything else. That's really what it's going to come down to me is, can he see the forest through the trees?
But will he also utilize the running backs in the blocking game? I haven't even seen a running back block this year.
No. Yeah, and that's part of the creativity problem. That's what we're talking about, being creative. But, yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to misconstrue this video and saying how we're going to go for flea flickers and screen passes.
End rounds and all the cutesy stuff. No, it has nothing creative. We're not saying be cutesy.
We're talking about a football 101 assignment.
We're talking about football 101.
But it's being creative with the football 101.
Exactly.
So
that's what's lacking. Exactly.
Well, it's been lacking since Skinner. I think it's been lacking left. At least Scangarello, like you said, plugged the A and B gaps, and he knew how to use his tight ends.
Yes, at least he did that. Yes. I had issues with. I didn't even really want the Scangarello hire. It didn't make sense to me. His play calling wasn't that great because a lot of it was behind the line of scrimmage. I had a problem with that. But Shermer is definitely not the answer for this. It's just.
But every time you saw, but at least Drew Lock and Rich Scangarello meshed together. Pat Shermer and Drew Lock don't mesh at all.
No.
You could see it. You can clearly see it.
That's why I said the hire didn't make sense either. It never did.
Because it's the Elway thing. He's the head coach.
Yeah, I know. I better let you go. I'm getting wrangled.
All right. Talk to you later.
See how this guy goes. Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah.